Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Nianne and this is Animals with Nianne. I'm sorry if you hear the washing machine. My roommate just turned it on, so I'm sorry for the noise in advance. However, let's get back on the topic of today's video. Today we're diving into the world's most iconic and tallest mammals, the giraffe. I recently had a chance to see giraffes up close in Colchester Zoo, and I don't know, I just really had this feeling, like this strong intuition I should make today's video about giraffes. They're such beautiful creatures, and also when I saw them in the zoo, I was kind of like wow, they're so beautiful, because I got so close to them. I've never been so close to them before. And I don't know, ever since I've been just kind of thinking about them, they've been on my mind. Yeah, they're interesting animals, and there's no other animal that looks even close to what they look like, and I think that's pretty cool as well. So I'll talk a little bit about their anatomy, behavior, and more. There's just so much to learn about them. Let's get into it. Giraffes are found in a range of environments, including forests, savannas, and shrublands. They are widespread across Africa, and especially in southern and eastern Africa, with smaller isolated populations in western and central Africa.
Why is there a giraffe in my house? A giraffe, you have to go back to Africa.
Currently, giraffes live in 18 different countries in Africa and have been reintroduced to 3 other countries, which are Malawi, Rwanda, and Eswatini, or formerly Swaziland. And additionally, giraffes from South Africa have been introduced to Senegal. However, the situation in Senegal is a little bit complicated because the giraffes from South Africa have been brought to Senegal, but I believe they're also, again, extinct there, so they're not really doing well in Senegal. Let's just keep it at that. And giraffes are also believed to be extinct in some other countries, such as Burkina Faso, Eritrea, Guinea, Mali, Mauritania, and Nigeria. Despite their ability to adapt to various habitats, from deserts to woodland and savanna ecosystems, adult giraffes are the tallest animal on this world, the tallest land mammal, I have to say, excuse me, with males typically reaching heights of 4.8 to 5.5 meters, and females being slightly shorter than them. The most iconic part of a giraffe is probably the neck. This is something they're well known for having a very tall neck, and the anatomy of the neck is very interesting. First of all, it can be up to 1.8 meters, so like human-sized, basically. If you're from the Netherlands, I think 180 centimeters is a common height here in the Netherlands, so that's what I'm used to. I know in a lot of other countries people are smaller, so maybe, to me, it's like around human height, but maybe some other cultures are human height and some more. Anyways, despite the length, they have only 7 neck vertebrae, just like we do. Each vertebra is elongated, allowing for great height. I'm not going into too much detail about the bone structure in the neck and so on. It's just quite complicated, and I honestly don't even really thoroughly understand it, so yeah. But the very interesting thing I think about the giraffe's neck is that the 7th cervical vertebra supports the first rib, which is different from the typical anatomy of other mammals. Another thing that really adds to their great length is their legs. The legs are also long and sturdy, contributing to their overall height. Their front legs are slightly shorter than their hind legs, which gives the giraffe a unique way of walking called pacing, where the front and back legs on the same side move together. Giraffes have large cloven hooves, about 30 centimeters across. These support their massive bodies and are adapted to walking on various terrain. Because the giraffe is so tall, their blood circulation is adapted in a special way to pump blood to their brain at such a great height. Giraffes have a huge heart, weighing up to 11 kilograms. It sounds so heavy to me, I don't know, it sounds so heavy to me. Because they need a huge heart, this creates the necessary pressure to send blood from their heart to their head. So giraffes have extremely high blood pressure, about twice of the humans, and humans is like from 80 diastolic blood pressure to 120 systolic blood pressure. If I'm right, I could be wrong. So giraffes have twice the amount of that. This helps them maintain circulation when they raise and lower their heads. So that was a little bit about their body. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the appearance. First of all, giraffes have a beautiful coat. They are covered in a coat of spots, which helps with camouflage in the daylight sunlight of their habitat. The pattern and shape of the spots can vary per species and even per individual. The spots can range from light brown to darker shades of brown and are surrounded by a lighter color, or even a white color. Giraffes have a long tongue, about 45 to 50 centimeters in length, which is highly adapted for grasping leaves and twigs. The tongue is also dark colored. Most often they have a bluish, purplish kind of colored tongue, and this color helps them to protect the tongue from getting sunburned. Giraffes have a strong set of teeth, which are adapted to their diet. They have no front teeth on their upper jaw. Instead, the upper jaw is flat, and they rely on tough dental bed to tear leaves from branches. And the molars and premolars are large and flat enough for grinding tough vegetation. Giraffes have large and expressive eyes. I find their eyes very adorable. They kind of remind me of anime eyes, to be honest, because they're so like big and I don't know. Every time I see a giraffe, they have just like sparkles in the eyes. The eyes are located on both sides of their head. Their vision is very acute, allowing them to see long distances across the savanna. They can spot predators from a great distance, which is crucial for their survival. And I think another very prominent feature of their anatomy is their tails. Giraffes have long tails, which help them swat away insects. Their tail ends in a tuft of hair. I'm not sure why. I couldn't really find why. Maybe it's a fashion statement. Who knows? Giraffes, they have such a unique anatomy. I feel like it shouldn't work. Like, for example, with the blood pressure, they need to have a very high blood pressure so they can get blood to the head because their neck is so long. I don't know, just every time I see them, I think, like, I just think to myself, it doesn't really make sense. Like, how does it work? But I know how it works, and I know that it does work. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Weird animals, but cool animals. Giraffes are herbivores, primarily feeding on leaves, twigs, branches, just a variety of plants. Their diet consists mainly of woody plants, particularly from acacia. I'm not sure, acacia, I don't know, a tree in Africa, mimosa and commiphora species, though they also eat from other trees and shrubs when available. Acacia trees are very important to them, especially in the savannas and woodlands of the sub-Sahara Africa. These leaves are rich in protein and provide the bulk that they need for their nutritional intake. They will also consume fruits and flowers when they are in season. The consumption of these foods provides the giraffes with additional nutrients and energy. When it comes to water and minerals, giraffes can go a long time without water, but they do need to drink regularly, especially during hot periods. They typically drink from water holes and often need to adopt a unique stance to reach the water because they're so tall, they have long legs. So what they will do is they'll spread their legs apart and bend down a little bit. Yeah, it looks kind of silly. It looks cute, but also a little bit silly. They also consume minerals from plants that they eat, which is important for maintaining healthy bodily functions. And giraffes have evolved to thrive on leaves that are rich in fibers and relatively low in nutritional quality compared to grasses. Their stomachs are well adapted for digesting the tough plant materials through a process of fermentation in the rumen. The energy intake of giraffes largely depends on the quality and availability of the food. Their diet is often low in calories per unit of food compared to grazers like zebras, so they must eat large quantities of leaves. Studies have indicated that giraffes need to eat about 35 to 50 kilograms of foliage per day to maintain their energy balance. Giraffes have an average lifespan of about 25 years old, which is in the wild, and a range of 27 years in captivity. Giraffes do not have a specific breeding season, however mating tends to be more common during certain times of the year depending on environmental factors such as the availability of food. Male giraffes engage in a behavior known as snacking to compete for mating opportunities. This involves swinging their necks and using their heads to strike one another down. It's a display of strength and dominance. The males that win these fights are often able to mate with the females. While the males compete, the females can also exert a choice of mate. Females often prefer dominant, larger and stronger males. Okay, so they kind of have a weird courting behavior in my opinion. They will often court the female by licking her urine. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that. You know, whatever. And let the giraffes do what they want to do, I guess. Yeah, it couldn't be me. And the male giraffes may also perform a form of courting that's called penis cleaning, which is that they will lick their own genita before attempting to mate. Yeah, another odd behavior to me, but whatever. I try to not think about it too much, I guess. These behaviors signal that the male is ready for mating and that he is courting the female. The gestation period for giraffes is approximately 50 months, which is one of the longest gestation periods for mammals. This extended pregnancy allows the fetus to really grow and develop in the uterus, especially considering the size of the giraffes. Females usually give birth standing upright, and the newborn, called a calf, falls about 1.5 meters on the ground. You might think this is sad, but the fall is important to simulate the calf's blood circulation and breathing. Now, what I found was a little bit crazy to think about is that atypical calves weigh about 50 to 70 kilograms at birth. I mean, I know giraffes are big, but damn, that's heavy for a baby at birth. Imagine carrying, I mean, I know humans are totally different, but imagine carrying a baby in you that weighs around 50 to 70 kilograms. That's crazy. I mean, again, giraffes are such different animals than we humans. Like, we cannot compare ourselves to giraffes, but it's crazy to think about. So yeah, after birth, the calf is able to stand and walk within a few hours, which is crucial for avoiding predators. The mother and calf relationship is very tight, and the mother is very protective over her calf and will keep her calf close at all times. Newborns often nurse from their mothers, though they start to graze on vegetation shortly after birth, usually around 1 to 3 months. And calves may stay with their mother for several years, depending on the environmental conditions and social dynamics. Male giraffes typically reach sexual maturity around 4 to 5 years, but they often do not stop mating until much later due to competing dominance with older males. And female giraffes reach sexual maturity slightly earlier than the males, around 3 to 4 years of age. However, they often wait to mate until their body is even more developed and ready to give birth, so the birth will be more successful. Female giraffes can reproduce throughout much of their adult life, often giving birth to a calf every 2 to 3 years. Male giraffes have a more variable reproductive lifespan. They continue to mate pretty much throughout their whole life, though their ability to compete in mating battles diminish as they age. Giraffes are social animals and typically form loose, fluid groups called herds. These herds usually consist of 20 to 30 individuals, although they can range from a few to over 30. The composition of the herds also changes quite frequently, with individuals coming and going. The herds are usually separated by gender, with females and young forming a separate herd than the males. It also happens that the males are solitary or are in a bachelor group. Within both male and female groups, there is a social hierarchy. However, female giraffes tend to have a more loose social hierarchy, and males have a clear dominance hierarchy structure. Giraffes are selective feeders and typically forage during the day and may travel several kilometers in search of food. Giraffes can cover long distances each day, ranging from 10 to 15 kilometers, particularly during the dry periods. They move with a slow, loping gait, and when they're in danger, they can run up to 55 kilometers per hour for short distances.
Oh my god!
Despite their size, giraffes are capable of running fast when necessary. Giraffes are relatively quiet animals, but they do communicate through low frequencies that are below hearing range for humans. These sounds are thought to convey information over long distances as well. Giraffes may also make grunting, snorting, or hissing noises during close interactions. However, much of the giraffes' communication is visual. They use body posture to express aggression, submission, or interest. Giraffes also communicate with their eyes and tail movements. Giraffes have powerful legs and will kick when they are being attacked by predators. A well-placed kick from a giraffe can be deadly, especially to smaller predators like lions and hyenas. Giraffes can deliver powerful kicks to both forward and to the side, which not a lot of animals can do with 4 legs. For example, horses, they can't kick in all directions. When it comes to sleeping, giraffes usually sleep in short periods, typically around 4.6 hours per day, and they often sleep standing up just in case if they need to run away from predators. They need to be a little bit alert. They may also sleep lying down, but only for brief intervals, typically only during night. The giraffe sleep cycle both include REM sleep and non-REM sleep, although they sleep much less than other mammals, so that's another interesting thing, that they do go through different phases of sleep, but they do not sleep that much. According to the IUCN Red List, giraffes are vulnerable. This has been assessed on 9th of July 2016. Giraffes face several threats in the wild, many of which are linked to human activity. I will not go too deep into it, but I will talk about the most important ones, or the most common threats that giraffes have. As human populations grow, large parts of giraffe habitats are being cleared for agriculture, settlements, and infrastructure development. This leads to the loss of habitat and fragmentation, making it harder for giraffes to find food. Besides that, habitat fragmentation can also disrupt giraffes' movement patterns, limiting access to food, resources, and water, which increases the risk of inbreeding and isolated populations. Fragmented habitats can also prevent giraffes from running away from predators. Another big problem when it comes to the survival of giraffes is that they're being poached. They're often poached for their meat, skin, and bones, especially in regions where wildlife protection enforcement is weak. Giraffes are also sometimes hunted by trophy hunters, especially males with large necks and horns. Illegal and poorly regulated hunting practices can contribute to population declines. Giraffes often encroach on farmlands in search of food, which leads to conflict with the farmers. In some regions, giraffes may damage crops, which leads to farmers hunting or poisoning the giraffes. As human settlements and infrastructure expand into giraffe habitats, the risk of vehicle collisions increases, which can result in injury or death for the giraffe. Climate change is another big thing for giraffes. Climate change impacts the rainfall across Africa, with some regions experiencing more frequent droughts. Giraffes are dependent on tree foliage for food. They may suffer from reduced availability of their food resources during prolonged dry periods. Drought can also impact the to water availability, leading to increased competition to resources. Rising temperatures may also make some habitats unsuitable for the giraffes, as they are adapted to specific areas. Changes in temperature can affect vegetation growth, which is crucial for their diet. There's also good news, because there are organizations that are trying to help the giraffes' well-being. The first organization I found is Giraffe Conservation Foundation. It focuses on the conservation of giraffes across Africa through research, education, and habitat protection. The second organization is called Wildlife Conservation Society, which works on giraffe conservation by supporting sustainable land use practices and improving giraffe populations through research and protection programs. The third organization is called African Wildlife Foundation. They focus on preserving the habitats of giraffes and other African wildlife by promoting conservation efforts and working with local communities. Last but not least, we have Save the Giraffes Now. This is an initiative of the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, working to raise awareness and funding for giraffes conservation projects across Africa. This was my video about giraffes, and thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I don't know, I really felt like I should talk about giraffes, so here you go. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning more about these amazing, tall, iconic animals. Giraffes are truly one of a kind. I'm really glad I could share some information about them with you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more wildlife contacts, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It would help me out so much and I would really appreciate it. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below, or any other things you would like to talk about. Just go forward and leave a comment behind. As usual, I'll link the sources and the organizations in the description. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Why is there a giraffe in my house? Giraffe, you have to go back to Africa.